Hey, comic book fans! You're back. That's right, you're back at Comic Book Corner, and we are doing another episode of celebrating 50 years of the old Spider-Man. That's right, guys. Bam. Based off of the Bam Spider-Man Chronicles. Uh, that's right, we are keeping Peter Parker's spirit alive right here on Comic Book Corner. Every week I'm going to bring to you one episode of celebrating 50 years of Spider-Man by just going through his entire history, whether it's Amazing Spider-Man titles, Web of Spider-Man titles, Peter Parker Spectacular, me showing you some of my favorite issues of Spider-Man. It's all there for you guys. I'm going to be showing it to you. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 7. Excuse me. Issues number 7, 8, and 9. So, back in the year of 1963, when I was, dude, I don't even know, we had the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 7, and we have the first return of a villain in the series, and that is the Vulture. That's right, he makes his return. He comes out of prison and he upgrades his Vulture technology, and it's really cool because Peter can't seem to overcome his technology, and the Vulture, is getting the upper hand on him in his fights and everything else. And then in this last encounter, what happened was, I guess Peter just outshoots him with his webbing and outsmarts him and winds up beating the piss out of him at the end, and that's how he wins. In the issue, you get to see a romance part. He shared a romantic moment with J. Jonah's secretary, Betty Brant. So I guess this was the first. This was the first encounter of romance for Peter. So there you have a special moment. So next, in 1964 of January, we have the Amazing Spider-Man number 8 that comes out, and it's a 2-story tale. One has the Human Torch, and the next one has the Flash. The one with the Human Torch story, Spider-Man deals with the living brain, some smart robot. And you can see that here, and then here in the next tale, he fights the Flash. And Jack Kirby actually does art in this first story, and then Ditko goes back to doing the art in the second story. And in the first story, like I said, Spider-Man, does battle with this living brain. But the other story was the one where Peter confronts the Flash Thompson for the first time to settle the differences, and they duked it out in a boxing match, and that Peter triumphed over Flash Thompson. So I guess Flash kind of earned some respect for Peter at that time. So that was really cool. So next, in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 9, we come across the first appearance of Electro. That's right, guys. Electro makes his debut, and here on this page we see it here. There it is. And this was the first time that in the series that you really get to see what is called the Parker look, how he goes through all kinds of bad things in his life. Peter's forced to do battle with these bad guys. He's always sick. His Aunt May's always sick. He's having money issues. He's having women problems. And again, in this issue, he comes across Electro, which is Max Dillon, who sits there, and he's like a power line dude, and he's sitting there working on power lines, and the electricity hits, and he gets fried, and somehow he becomes Electro. So, and Spider-Man defeats him by kind of using his own powers against him. He puts like rubber gloves and boots to to absorb the electrocution, and he's doused with Electro with a fire hose, and he's like shocks himself. So pretty classic stuff though. It's really really good. That is one of the books right there where you sat there and say, okay, that's another major player, because at this point, we've come across Dr. Octopus, Sinister Six character, Sandman, another Sinister Six character, Vulture, again, another Sinister Six, so that's 3 of them, and Electro, who's another Sinister Six, which is 4. So you've come across 4 out of the 6 Sinister Six characters so far at this point in Amazing Spider-Man's history. Now, this particular book I enjoy tremendously. I forgot it in the other room, but I'm going to show it to you on this book that I enjoy tremendously. So this is actually a shout out to 1984 Terminator. This is one of his favorite Amazing Spider-Man books of all time, and this was one of my favorites. And it's just funny how he said when he responded to this last video that I did, he mentioned this particular book, and it was funny because the next episode, which is this one, I was going to do this issue anyway. And this issue is the Amazing Spider-Man 361. This was debuted in April of 1960. I'm sorry, it's issue 361. It was debuted in April of 1992, and we have the debut of Carnage. That's right. That's what we see here. And this is the issue right here, which I definitely do own. I have it out to do this video with, but I didn't get a chance to. I forgot it, so I don't want to leave the video. But this was debuted in April of that year, and it's pretty awesome because it's like the spawn of Venom. And not only is this character a symbiote, but he is sick and sadistic, and he's like almost like the Joker of Marvel. He's just crazy. And Mark Bagley's era of Amazing Spider-Man really started at this point. And the story's description is: Carnage has revealed the true force of his evil. Carnage was a symbiotic offspring produced when Venom bonded to psychopath Cletus Cassidy, a merciless villain more than willing to destroy innocent lives after their initial meeting. Spidey realized he was outmatched and turned to another symbiote for help. He actually turned to Venom at this point. And last seen in Amazing Spider-Man number 347 of May 1991, Venom wasn't pleased to see his old foe, but agreed to help him save the innocent. Spider-Man defeated Carnage by luring him into a sonic trap, then went on to capture Venom with the help of Mr. Fantastic. It was a betrayal that made Venom hate the web slinger even more. So it's a great story because, like it was described, Peter Parker used Venom for bait to capture Carnage. Got to do what you got to do to save the world, don't you? But yes, this was 1984's Terminator's favorite Spider-Man issue, and this is one of my favorites too. It's one of those milestones where you meet a major player in Parker's life, and Mary Jane pleaded with Peter not to risk his life by taking on Carnage, but of course Peter is always determined to do what he has to do to save the world, because great power comes great responsibility. Remember that, guys. So that is another one of my favorite issues that I own. You guys tell me maybe in the comments below, what are your favorite issues of Amazing Spider-Man or Web of Spider-Man, and I'll talk about it in the next episode of celebrating Spidey's 50 years of history. So guys, that's all I have for you this week in celebrating 50 years of Spider-Man. And this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care, everyone. I'll see you real soon.